like that anymore. The build it and they will come model. Unfortunately, that's just not how it really works, because you can have the best information, you can have the best service, you can have the best restaurant, but if people don't know you're there, right? If you're not on Yelp, if people aren't talking about you, no one's going to find out, and you'll stay small. So we want to become not just the best, but we also want to become the best known. We want to become well known. And a part of that is just truly marketing. It's leveraging the new technology, leveraging the new way of putting ourselves out there, the new way of communicating, leveraging social proof. And that's why tonight I want to have, really Ferrari come through and share, because, I'll give a little bit of a synopsis of what I understand his background is, but he'll probably do it way better than me because I can't. This guy's resume is just way too long, but essentially he's worked with the back ends of the Twitters and the different social media platforms, managing way too much money in ad spend and like just seeing things that the normal average person doesn't get the opportunity to see, being able to experiment and cross test and really identify what captures human attention, what captures and holds eyeballs. And really, he's going to be talking about a bit about that tonight, but I'm giving him the platform to take the stage wherever he wants. So Ferrari, what's going on, bro?
What is going on?
What's happening, man? Long time no speak.
I know. Likewise. It's been a pretty interesting last couple of months. What's up with you?
Man, it's definitely been a crazy couple of months. Closing up some projects. I think I was telling you like a few weeks ago, like closing up some projects. Just getting all the businesses in order and getting everything ready for the next quarter here. Well, we're already in that quarter, but just clean up some stuff from last quarter.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same here. Just as I explained to you before, we're doing the AI audits now. Google just offered me this crazy position for the early prompt engineers. They want to start teaching businesses to fire their help through AI. So it's like they're looking to do like 1 to 25, 150s. So like one person taking like 50 people's jobs. It's nuts. It's getting crazy out here. So I turned them down, and we're just hammering out a fleshed out course now to help everybody get on the jump for this. I've been warning people. I think we even spoke back in December when I first had my first call with you guys. I was explaining the importance of AI and where it was headed. Mm-hmm. And we're here now. We're here.
Dude, so, it's funny, too. Like, I'd be open to having a conversation about that as well, because the marketplace is shifting, and it's shifting radically. And some people are freaking out. And other people, like, I'm not really worried. I'm not scared, because I look at it as, it's a new tool, it's a new technology, and things are always changing. It's about moving and adapting with the change, regardless of what industry we're in. If people think that we're going to get, essentially pushed to the side, it's like, not unless you are actively steering the boat.
Yes. This is akin to the early .com boom, probably, in the 90s, where people were like, oh, we're not migrating to the internet. And then 8 months later, Toyota had to spill $4 or $5 million out for their .com. So it's a tricky situation, because a lot of people will brush things aside to make themselves feel better about not being able to use it. And there are folks out there who feel like it's not that important. But I can assure you, I know people that have like let their entire staff of VAs go. I have like 2 VAs now. A lot of my guys are gone. And mind you, I've been in the Twitter automation business. I've been in YouTube automation since 2016. And I had like 25 guys at one point. We've narrowed that down to the same 2 people. I only kept my managers now. And my managers, I trained them fully in AI. And they're doing everything else everybody else was doing proficiently.
That's insane.
It's a scary space right now.
So real quick, like for the people that just jumped in, and we got some folks inside the community right now, we got some people that are going to watch this on replay. Could you give them like a quick like recap of like who you are, kind of like what you've done, and like the space that you live and hang out in?
Gotcha. So for those of you who missed the early introduction, or he missed out some spots, I started out in marketing with Twitter. I've been at Twitter since maybe 2010. I've been verified that long as well. I would say 2011. So I started doing marketing and research for Fortune 500 companies. I helped build Sleep Number from the ground up. I've worked on some presidential campaigns that I can't speak on, but I mean, I've had 2 successful presidential campaigns. I'll put it that way. I've spent to date $61 million in ads between just senators, politicians, Fortune fives, Shopify businesses. I've scaled 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses through various modes of ad spend. I don't use Google that much. I'm not a big fan of Google Ads because of all of the bots that we've actually had to write ourselves to waste other people's ad spend. It's a nasty business. But I can assure you, if there's any questions here, if anyone's like concerned on if marketing is important, we'll have all that covered before the end of this conversation, because it is the lifeblood of your business, whether you know it or not.
Man, I love it. And like it's true. Like again, like I wish someone recently asked me, like, hey, like if I had to start over, what skill would I learn? Right. If I had to start brand new in business. And I told them, like, honestly, knowing what I know now, I would go straight and learn everything I could about marketing. I wouldn't even learn sales first. I would actually understand marketing. But if your marketing is dialed in well enough, you shouldn't have to sell, because
Exactly.
you should be finding the right people for what you already have, for what they're already looking for.
Exactly. You can do a lot of damage with a $1,000 to $5,000 budget if you know who you're selling it to. And I think that's where a lot of people make the mistake of saying, all right, a lot of people are guilty of going, oh, I'm going to start my YouTube channel once I have this camera and this lighting and this and that, and then I'll run my business when I have 25K to spend on it. But if you know what you're doing and you know exactly who you're marketing to, that 1,000 you don't want to start with can roll forward into 5. If you can keep a 4.8 ROI, I mean, who's to say you can't take that $4,800 from the 1,000 and then roll that forward again into 20? You just have to know exactly who you're putting it in front of. Like my firm, we have a saying that goes, if you're not marketing, you're basically, if you don't have a presence, you're screaming out the window. And it's very true.
So let's talk about that, because this is something that you and I were having a conversation about when it comes to ultimately like creating that presence, creating that online. It's like it's the internet at this point in day and age. I look at it as like your billboard. I look at social media as my own personal billboard. It's my own personal channel that I get to run, and seeing the power of essentially social proof and seeing the power of having online credibility, like. How relevant is that? Because I know you play in spaces where there's a face sometimes to a business and sometimes there is no face. Like, what's your opinion on how important is it to build up your own essentially presence online?
Without an online presence, you end up having, which we're all guilty of. So, you have your stores like, Shein and other stores. You have to click this ad 8 or 9 times to decide if it's something you really want to do, because you don't know if it's of a fly-by-night business. But let's say you're, pushing a coaching course, and then I Google you and there's nothing else coming up but your coaching course. You really have no social proof. But let's say I Googled you, and after I clicked your ad, I found an article on XYZ and 4 or 5 more articles, or 6 or 7. You don't have to be verified at that point. They're doing the work for you. They're doing the legwork for you. It kind of is akin to, rather, they're going to click once or 4 or 5 more times and waste your retargeting money. That's pretty much where we're at with the social proof space. Like, anyone can buy a badge at this point. It's not even about that anymore. That has pretty much lost its value at this point in the space we're currently in. But no one wants to, have anyone with the old adage where they're sitting in front of Lamborghinis and all these other things that may or may not be rented. That doesn't do anything anymore. That trick's been exploited. So now it's like, if I Google you, what am I finding? Am I finding panels on you? Am I finding articles on you? Am I finding social proof and proof of concept of what you're actually saying you're doing? Or am I just going to run into a bunch of funnels?
Okay. So essentially, like when we're getting online, right, it's like, and this was something that you brought to my attention. It's how easy is it for people to find out about you and learn about you and ultimately like find out you're not a bot, right? Like regardless,
Exactly.
I think we all do this, right? Like I know when I meet a person, when I interact with a person, the first couple of places I'm going is like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And then if they have a product and I'm interested in buying it from them, I for sure, whether it's like an online course or whether it's I'm about to take mentorship from somebody, I'm absolutely Googling them, right?
100%.
Like, especially if I'm going to spend a lot of money with them, I want to figure out, and like I want to see what do other people have to say about this person. Like, is it a scam? Is it like this? If I don't know them well, but like I want to figure out, I want to find them out, really.
Yeah. And that's where, the social proof in this day and age comes in at. It's like, yeah, you could have a badge. That's cool. But if people aren't doing their diligence to actually, if it's on Twitter, they can click the badge and see if you're a member of Twitter Blue or you're a prominent figure. But with Instagram, there's no way to check anymore. With all these other platforms, there's no way to check anymore. So it's like you can invest in yourself on just buying a badge and then still continue to rip people off. Or just, sell something you're not that proficient in. And it's been happening for years.
Well, let me ask too, like, because with the right now, everyone, and I'm sure you guys have all seen this on Instagram, there's a ton of people like with badges now because Instagram just started allowing everyone to buy badges. And I almost like see the people with badges now. And like, I gotta be honest, like, and this is just a personal opinion, I almost like get pissed off seeing badges now. Because like they mean nothing to me now. I'm just like, wow, like these badges literally mean nothing. Are we starting to see like a super watering down of like badges and like what the value they bring?
I know in the meta space, we had a couple of meetings, and some of us were even like, this is suicide. Why would you do this? No one's hurting for money. The ad platform is still killing it. But what I will say is it doesn't, for those of us in the social space that thought, the badge had a prominent meaning to it at one point. It meant you were somebody of importance, but it really never carried that context. It all goes back to like a Twitter being sued for like a fake page. I think of a coach or something saying or doing something that they didn't say or do. And that's where Twitter rolled out the badges, I think like in 2009 or something. I don't know the whole story. But now it's like, you're a celebrity. You have a verification badge, you're a celebrity or you're a political figure or somebody of that importance. That's how I got mine. I was working in Twitter politics. So, I needed to be on the back end of certain things. I had some contracts I needed to sign. I've seen some stuff I can never speak on. But now it's like you have $14 and you have a badge. So yeah, it doesn't hold the weight and it doesn't give you the social proof or it doesn't build the trust it used to. And that's the big problem there.
Okay. So, bringing it back to marketing now, right? When we're looking at social media and we're leveraging marketing, like if a person's interested in like and starting to figure out marketing, like where do you tell a person to start? Like if like let's say I'm brand new Ferrari, I just learned about like business. I'm seeing everyone's like, hey, you can, sell real estate or you can do this, you can sell products. But like, and I get like I buy into the dream, right? Like, all right, cool. I can go sell my product for 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, $20,000. Like go sell a contract for $20,000. And then as I start doing the business, I start realizing it's not as easy as the guy on YouTube made it seem, right? Like I realize I gotta go find these opportunities and holy crap, like the work is finding the needle in the haystack. But some people seem to just be funneling needles into their life. Like how the hell are they funneling needles? Like, where would I start from like the beginning of even thinking about marketing?
So honestly speaking, yeah, it is way more work than the average, guy with ad will say, oh, I quit my job by doing XYZ. They're leaving out a lot of the A to Z. They are. And it's that itself is a marketing tactic. If you do it tactfully and you do it, I don't want to use the word honestly, but if you do it in a way where they understand that there's still work involved, it's not predatory. But if you see ads where they're like, oh, hey, I have XYZ YouTube channels and I'm making $100,000 a month, and most times that's not the case. But they're selling you your pain points. So I would learn social engineering in a positive, in a white hat. Let's put it that way. White hat social engineering is where you should start. If you ever have a problem trying to figure out what you're selling and who you're selling it to, because you just don't want anybody. Because then you have to worry about filtering out people that aren't going to do the work and just call you a scammer to just delegate the fault over to you. You don't want that. You want to find like-minded individuals. So if you have a bakery, you have no business on a baseball page running ads. You have to sit down and figure out who your audience is, what problem you're solving for them, and what problem they already have. You have to put yourself in their shoes and show that you've been there and you've done these things. Whether or not it's a whole completely different aspect, and there are needles in haystacks that they're going to have to go sift out, they have to be motivated. But they have to be motivated to know that their problems are going to be solved. If you're targeting the right people, you will find those folks. But if you're just, throwing money at the ad machine, hoping it works, that's not going to happen for you. You're going to waste money. You're going to get discouraged, and you're probably going to call your current mentor a scammer. And it's just the perpetual mess that we're in right now in the guru space.
That's huge. So real quick, I want to highlight one thing. First off, I want to highlight the fact that you used the word motivated because, you know, I come from the real estate space. And whenever we're talking to homeowners and we're looking to pick up properties off market, things of that nature, we always say we're looking for motivated sellers. And I find people all the time, they're coming to me and they're asking, hey, can you help out with this lead? Or can you help out with this deal? Or I'm having trouble like making this, like closing this deal. And when I start talking to their person or I'm looking at their lead, I'm like, dude, you're talking to the wrong person. This person's not a deal. This opportunity is not a deal. This person has no motivation. They don't have a, like, you're like you just said, like you're a guy trying to sell baseballs in a bakery, right? Like wrong place. So motivation is huge. You said the word social engineering. What do you mean by that?
So ethically, there's a way to do it ethically and unethically. And then there's a gray line where that's up to the individual once they get good at one or the other. So, there's sales tactics, and I've worked on some closing courses, and you can immediately identify when someone is either selling you something, and you have to be able to ascertain whether or not you're going to take control of the sale itself. So what I mean by social engineering is there's certain cues. I'm sure you guys have been on these calls with people before, and you'll have somebody tell you quickly, like, oh, this is great for you. I know you're a man of action. They're playing you. That's social engineering. They don't want you to outright say like, oh, this may not be for me, because now you're telling them that you're not about what you said you're about. So now they're putting the pressure on you without even pressuring you. And these are little cues that you can take even in your ad. If you can't identify what the true problem is, you can't sell them anything. So if you're in the business of like fixing radiators, you have to find folks that already need it fixed, not that may need it fixed down the road. Remember, every time they click your ad, they're wasting your money, and you're wasting your own money inherently. And then if you have a retargeting, set up, you're still selling to the same people that didn't want it. So inherently, if you're taking the time to work that person, and that's exactly what you're doing, you're working them, but not in a way where it's black hat. You want to take the time and write down what problems you are solving. And then you will take the social engineering aspect and work them. And when I say work them, I don't mean really con them or anything. It's just that they need to understand that this problem is going to be solved. And if they're not motivated, you need to then motivate them. If it's an already existing problem and if it's a lingering problem, you have to figure out what you're solving. So if you're selling leads for real estate, and you're getting a bunch of shit leads from people like, Marlon, you just said these guys aren't motivated. They're not motivated. 9 times out of 10, they were just putting up people that were fans of Zillow. And that's the God's honest truth. Most people that do ads for real estate will just find, Howard Hanna and yada, yada, yada. And then they'll just target those folks that are fans of that page. That is not a motivated buyer, nor is it a motivated seller. You have to figure out exactly how you're going to laser target that person. You don't need a pool of 10 million people if you only have $1,000 to spend. You need the people that are actually sitting there looking for homes to buy once they sell their home. So now you have to figure out, how exactly am I going to reach these people in this other pool of a mess? And that's where the social engineering aspect will start. You need to find and hone in on that pain point. Everyone has a problem. You just have to figure out how you're specifically going to solve it or help them solve it. If you have a mentorship and they don't understand credit, are you going to look for people that are looking for funding or looking for credit? You have to figure out exactly who you're looking for. Because I have a lot of people that have hired me to clean up, ad messes where they just went and they had a credit repair business, and they're just targeting fans of him 500. He's giving out free information. So why are you targeting his people? You're not helping them. You need to find the people that are following buy here, pay here ads. You need to find the people that are complaining on, lists of consumer law issues. These are the people that you need to find. You don't need someone that's giving away free info. Leeching him's not going to help you. That's too many far steps removed from your current situation. So it all depends on what you have to offer. If you're offering something broad spectrum, yeah, then that's fine. But if you have a finite skill, you need someone that also needs that finite skill.
So that's big, man. And like, something that I want to highlight, because it's something that took my brain a little while to get through, is you don't need to talk to the entire world, right? Like sometimes like we feel like we need to market to everyone, but with the social engineering, the way I'm understanding it, Ferrari, is we're talking about truly understanding our avatar, like whoever it is that we serve in the marketplace, understanding them so damn well that we know more about them than they might even know about themselves.
Exactly.
We can be
You have
where
to
they're
break
at.
them down. You have to understand the science of the sale. You have to really break down the psychology of the consumer. So if you got a guy on the phone and you're trying to close the deal with him and he's like, if they hit you with the, I got to go ask my wife. Don't let them get off the phone and just say, or try and play them and go, oh, you're not in charge of your money. Now you've pissed him off. Stop and ask him how much can he spend without asking his wife. Start there, even if you get a down payment, because now he's comfortable and you've lowered his guard and now you've taken his shield from him. He can't hide behind her anymore. That easily, now you may have a chance to close that sale. Because I see guys all the time at car dealerships and stuff, and I've consulted on closing on those kind of things. And the first thing they always do is attack the guy that goes, I'm going to go check with my wife. I mean, realistically, you're not really helping yourself by saying, oh, what, you're not in charge of your money? No, you're both driving it. I mean, you have to be realistic with yourself here. So ask yourself, how much can I spend? How much are you allowed to spend without consulting with anybody? Or how much are you prepared to spend today that you're comfortable with? You're asking them the same question, but you're also disarming them. You need to disarm somebody because 9 times out of 10, if they're not looking to spend the money, but you're solving their problem, they may not trust you.
So I like that. And what I like, and this is what I picked up on too, and like this is the way my brain works. Because you, like, for example, this man in the car dealership like understands like who he's trying to sell to, who his avatar is, even if it potentially cost you a sale, to still ask the questions, the probing questions, to better understand the people that are coming to you, the people that you're interacting with on a day-to-day, because even if it doesn't go towards a sale, you're still building your database of understanding the people that come in front of you, understanding the potential client, understanding the potential prospect. And then from there, really, again, getting deeper and deeper into their psychology.
Exactly. And I don't think enough of us as marketers or business owners or anyone selling anything has taken the time to understand the individual, because we're so busy with looking at what said mentor they may have is already doing. This guy's jumping on a jet. I'm still fixing my credit. I need 40 VAs and just to delegate everything to everybody else. If you don't have a skill to teach the VAs, you're basically you have a cookie cutter business. Most people like to feel like they don't want to feel like they're being sold to. And I've noticed a lot of the conversation I've had, especially with Airbnb, rental arbitrage, a lot of people like, I can't close on none of the landlords. Well, why not? Their rent's getting paid. So what's the actual issue that we really have here? So here's another example. A lot of people are bombing on this right now. So I sat down, we did a free workshop for a bunch of people. A couple of my friends brought me on, and they can't close these landlords. So it's like, well, what's the problem? The problem is they want to know why they can't do it themselves. So now either you're going to make the mistake of overselling how difficult it is to scare them away from it and then make it look like you don't have the necessary skill to do it, or just you need to let them know, look, the rent's $2,000. You'll have your $24,000 at the end of the year. This insurance is in place. I'm willing to get this much extra insurance. They don't know how cheap insurance is. They just want to make sure they're getting what they're out there to get. That's it. All you have to do is solve their initial problem. Now you're offended because you think that they feel like you can't do your job. So now you're up in arms, they're up in arms, and you guys are butting heads. Solve their problem and you'll get whatever you want. That's simple. That's how this goes. Marketing and social engineering is very simple. There's a problem. If you can solve that problem, you'll get whatever you want. You can extract dollars, multiple dollars from the same person. You can solve one problem and sell them 10 more things if you know how to do it.
That is big. And so essentially, and this is what I like, because when you get focused and you get dialed in, and especially with your marketing, are you, and I have to I'm going to ask you a question I believe I already know the answer to. Are you constantly changing your message to fit the different people that you're finding along the way? Or are you constructing the message based on who you want to serve and saying no to all the things that don't fit inside the box that you work in?
So that's an interesting question, because I was just coaching someone last night that has a broad fix to a lot of problems, but they never get to the final point. So it's like, I have this thing and it'll help 50 people, but only 49 of them are going to listen to, one for each. So I told them, I said, look, if you have a message, record the message once. And then if you have 10 niches that you can hit, record 10 hooks, splice that one video into 10 videos, open it up to solve every person's problem. If you're solving a Turo problem, you can't start with a stock options problem because the Turo guy is not listening anymore. And you could have solved his problem too. Record 10 separate hooks to solve one problem. Just one problem. So yes, this is an ever-changing modular situation. Your marketing has to always be modular. Because if you're fixing credit, most people think, oh, you want the car and the house of your dreams. That is not all you're solving. And that's the mistake that everybody's making, because some people are like, I already have a car, I already have a house, and that's why my credit's fucked up. So now they're not coming to you anymore. So now if you know that leveraging your credit can open up doors to start new businesses, unlimited funding, you have to target each and every single person, but you can't with a blanket ad. And if you think you can, you're lying to yourself. So if you want to hit the funding guy, open your video with, here's 10 reasons why you need funding to blah, 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 splice in your original video. Record the video once, record 10 to 15 or 20 other hooks for 10 to 15 or 20 other niches. Now you got 20, 25 pieces of content. You recorded one main piece and 5-second little hooks. And now you can target 25 different audiences with the same ass budget. Plain and simple.
So essentially on the back end, your fulfillment is still the same. Your product and your service is still the same. But on the front end, what's happening is you're attuning the message so that for the person that's receiving it, it's speaking their language, essentially.
Exactly. And it's the same message.
I see a lot of people sometimes they don't switch it up. And although like they, as the deliverer of the message, they understand what they're saying, they forget that the other person doesn't necessarily understand it, right? Like how important it is to, if I'm talking to another investor, or if I'm talking to another business owner, versus if I'm talking to a real estate agent, versus if I'm talking to an average homeowner, versus if I'm talking to an elderly couple. Although I might be doing the exact same thing with all of those people, I need to communicate to them and get them to the finish line by saying, like, by changing my message, but not necessarily changing my process. See, I've seen people try and change their back-end process. And it's like, all right, well, if you're talking about changing your back-end process, you're creating a whole another business, essentially. You're creating a brand new product. You're creating a brand new conveyor belt. Yeah. Instead, let's change the front end to allow the front end of the conveyor belt to take more things in, but it still has to streamline and go through the same steps once it gets past the bottleneck.
Exactly. And think about it like this. If you record and streamline your same product, your same package for 10 other people, and it's solving 10 different, life-changing problems. Not everyone is going to have the same problem. Not everyone is going to have the same pain points, even though you might be able to solve those problems. You don't need 10 new funnels. You need one. If you have $1,000 to spend and you have a walk of, let's say we have a group of 10 people and you're solving 10 different problems, but they don't get to the problem being solved because your opening hook, just your opening hook, scared them off. So instead of getting the clicks you would have got, you're only going to get the person that is really in dire need at the moment, and they'll listen to anything. And you've pretty much wasted your budget. But if you're opening up with, 5 reasons why you should have started with Turo, blah, 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 blah. Now the Turo guy's listening. And now you funneled him into the same credit thing that you're funneling the people into real estate that want to get invested in. Learn to play with other people's money with stock market. Boom. Now the people that only want to do stocks are going to click your ad. And it's the same video. It's the same video. There's no one size fits all with marketing. And that's a big mistake that a lot of people, especially now, are making, because they're chasing a finish line, but they're not prepared to even train for the race.
So I had another question. Also, while I'm here, I'm looking at Raphael. Raphael had a question in the chat. He said, would you recommend throwing some money into Facebook ads for a couple of months to zero in on the data and find your people?
If this was 2017, 16, hell yes. Back in those days, the pixel would kind of pretty much auto populate all the information you needed back then. Do I recommend throwing money at it just to get your pixel seasoned? Yes. It will not solve your problems if you don't have, to put it bluntly, if you have, let's say, I'm just going to play with the whole credit area. If you're dealing with credit clients and you have one pixel that you've thrown $1,000 at, it will eventually learn exactly what you need. How they're behaving, how they're reacting, the actions that they're taking, and you'll even be able to retarget those people. You'll find a lookalike audience. That's your best friend. If you guys, are already on your journey to learn ad marketing, your next step this evening should be lookalike audiences. But if you decide to start running,
we're gonna have, because there might be some people inside here who have no idea what a pixel is and no idea what a lookalike audience is.
Okay,
you gotta drop the pixel and what's a lookalike audience.
So a tracking pixel will basically collect all necessary data going into your landing page or your website, your Shopify, whatever it is that you have. Meta is collecting all this information on the back end for their own purposes, yes, but for yours as well. It will pick who's clicking what. It'll identify who's clicking what, and it'll help you make your ads cheaper. If you have a pixel running and you know you're running a month, 2 months in, and your clicks are still pricey, you're probably making a mistake somewhere along the line. You need to refine your data. So real quick, anyone that's running ads today, if you're not running a bracket-based like tournament system against your own ads, what you should be doing is just that. So if you're saying, well, I have an ad and I'm trying to get people ages 35 to ages 50 in XYZ states, you got 5 states listed, 5 cities listed, and you ran it for a week, you spent a couple of bucks, and you realize that some cities aren't performing well. So you need to now remove them out, but also take the most important things that you've gotten. So if ages 20 to 25 are doing really well, or 30 to 35 are doing well, leave them in. Find the city that's performing well, leave that city in. Find the interests that are doing well, leave that one in. Now you have yourself a master ad. Now you can throw more money at that ad because the likelihood of click and conversion is in. But the definition of a conversion is not really what people think it is. If someone is converting, it's not a sale. It's not anything specific. Your conversion is what you're currently shooting for. And people think converting is a sale, and it's not. A click is a conversion. An add to cart, a fill through, an opt-in. These are all conversions. And if you're doing conversion-based ads, you really are just, if you think of sales a conversion, you're kind of doing yourself a disservice, and you're also probably wasting money. You need to put 5 ad sets out, 3 to 5, keep the budget small, break the demographic up, even if you're not sure what it should be. You know, kind of zero in on yourself, do some market research data, and make 5 separate ad sets with all different information. And then take the top 3 performing, move them down, create new ad sets. Take the top 3 performing and move them down until you have a master ad. Now you can throw 5-10 grand at that ad. Now you can build a lookalike audience compared to who's either adding to cart, who spent 20 seconds or more at your video, because now the pixel will say, well, these people are doing these things. And you can tell the pixel literally, I need more of that. I need more of the people that checked out. I need more of the people that added to cart. I'll even take the people who just opted in. But now the pixel knows exactly what you need, and you're not just hoping to get clicks. It knows exactly what you want. Now your clicks will get cheaper. Now your ROI will go up. And as you see, you're making more money.
And I wanna highlight this for everyone inside here like that didn't get it, because this is why marketing made so much sense to me, and also why for the longest time I stayed. Like the reason I skipped marketing and jumped right to sales was because I was scared. I was afraid of, and maybe some of you can relate, I was afraid of spending money and putting money out and not being sure if money would come back in. So I said I would just do everything for free because I did not understand how, like what if the wrong person comes back, or what if nothing comes back, or what if the person comes back and I can't convert? And it was because I didn't understand the behavior. I didn't understand that I was looking for a very specific person. And I didn't understand the process towards taking the guesswork out of looking for a person. It wasn't just put up a billboard and hope people drive by it. That nowadays, with the help of technology, with the help of pixels, with the understanding of testing, like he's saying, like we're already saying, test to see which one's performing well, and then the ones that aren't performing well to look and see what's the actual behavior. What are people doing when they see this? Are they clicking? Are they going to the next website? How long are they staying on the page? With the technology that's out there, keep this in mind. They are literally tracking how long you stay at a certain part on the screen. This tells if you're reading, if you're watching the video, do you have the volume up? So are you listening to the audio? Are you, all of this information is being gathered. And then imagine that all of this information is being gathered. All of it's being held together by a computer, by this pixel thing, right? I'm going to call it the pixel thing because I'm not super tech savvy, but the pixel is holding this. And now you can train the pixel to say, find me more people like Randy. Randy stayed on my ad for 45 seconds. He looked at it twice. Then he eventually came back. He went to my website. He added some stuff to his shopping cart, and then he checked out, because the pixel will follow them off of Meta. And by the way, Meta's Facebook, in case anyone's not keeping up with like the modern day times. So like these things will follow you off the website and they will follow you around the internet and they will report back to you. Like you as the owner of the pixel, it reports all that information back to you about what people are doing. How freaking insane is that?
Absolutely. It's AI before they were labeling it AI. But there's more psychology into tracking pixels than people even realize. So easiest $200,000 I ever made in my life. True story. And I'm going to ask you guys to see who can actually figure out I made one minor adjustment. So a certain company brings me on board. They hired this ad company. They've spent like $1.2 million in ads. They're not getting conversions. They're getting a ton of clicks. They're getting a ton. I mean, they're getting a ton of clicks. The click-through was insane, but they weren't getting the sales. So without giving the demographic, I'll tell you, it was a baby-based company. They were selling luxury strollers, all that good stuff, $500 high chairs, all that kind of shit. But for one reason or another, their target was women 25 to 50. Every state, they had the money for it. They weren't even shy about it. They targeted everywhere. But their click-through rate was 78%. 78% is insane. But they weren't getting sales. Does anybody know why they weren't getting sales? Anybody?
Click-through rate 70%. So a lot of people are clicking on the ad. A lot of people are going there, but it's not selling. I'm assuming that their landing page was terrible.
It wasn't. And honestly, a lot of the landing pages were redirects to the proprietary companies. I'm assuming it was affiliate marketing at the time, the way they were doing it. They're more of a standalone company now with their own stuff, but it was, from my experience, it was affiliate marketing. But why were they not getting the affiliate payouts? Does anybody know? Any guesses?
If they weren't getting the affiliate payouts, but people were going through on the website, I'm going to assume people were getting on, seeing it, but maybe coming back later, like on through another mean. I don't know.
So yeah, you and somebody else were quite close. They did not reach out soon enough. Yes. So the cookie does expire. So if you did not know, if you're doing Amazon affiliates or any other affiliate marketing, if they do not check out through your link within like 24 hours, you don't get the affiliate payout. The problem was they were targeting women. But 9 times out of 10 in this context, and this, unfortunately, it still holds semi-true, the women were then going to tell the husbands to go buy the items. But the husbands were checking out after the cookies were expiring. So they're spending all of this heavy money. So I said, okay, well, let's target the husbands. But let's target the husbands of the women that are already clicking. Sales started happening because now the cookie was reactivating and the same tracking cookie from before was being retargeted. Sales went up. Sales went up by 62%. Because they're showing, and I'm guilty of this too, my wife will come show me, oh, we should go get this. All right, let's go get it tomorrow. The cookie's expired. So even if I click that link, you're not getting the payout. But there's also been instances where my wife's looking at something on Instagram and I'll say, hey, isn't this what you were just looking at? And me being in marketing, I'll laugh to myself like, oh, you must be looking at this. And I'll come show her my phone. Are you looking at these? And she'll go, yeah, I'm looking at them. Because now they're implementing the same thing that we were doing at that time some years ago. If you're going to do those kind of things, you have to, again, get into the psychology of exactly what's happening here. Not saying that the women aren't making the purchases, because that's not what was happening here. But being that the price tag was so high, these weren't unilateral purchases in that context. They were making sales. But, I'm not going to even delegate it to the single women or the single men. It's just when you buy something and you spend $3,000 on a stroller, and I know I've done this, we'll say together, like, which one are we getting? You don't have 24, 48, 36 hours for that when you're doing affiliate marketing. So they made the mistake of just throwing money at their problem, not realizing what they were doing. And it's something that small cost them almost $1.5 million in money, and then brought me aboard. So that was another $200K after the ad spend.
That's huge. So it's really interesting, right? Because again, like this comes back to getting so deep into their world, getting so deep into understanding your client, which, not for nothing, guys. And I had this conversation actually last week with, or maybe it was 2 weeks back with like my small coaching group, like with the high performance coaching group. And we were talking about over serving and like over delivering value to your customer, right? And the way you do that is just by understanding, like getting to intimately know them, again, better than they even know themselves sometimes, right? You know their behavior, so you know how to serve them. So when we're even looking at it from a standpoint of, by understanding marketing, if you get really good at marketing, it naturally prepares you to get good at sales and fulfillment, because you're so deep in their world, you're so understanding of who they are and their behavior that you understand, well, I can just sell you by presenting it this way, but then I can also just give you the thing that's actually going to make your life better because I understand it. I understand your situation.
Exactly. Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, everyone on this call is already learning sales, whether they know it or not. If you're closing someone on the phone, you can pretty much ascertain whether or not they're wasting your time. And that's not because you just know people, it's because you know that type of person.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to learn how to convert that type of person. Because you wouldn't be on the phone with them if they didn't have the money to spend, unless they're just doing, some sort of low level, espionage and just spying on your course or whatever it is you have going. If you got them on the phone and they took time out of their day to get on the phone with you 9 times out of 10, they are prepared to spend the money. It might have just been that they weren't prepared to spend the money with you. And if you already hear that, like, okay, this guy is not going to convert, this girl is not going to convert, you're kind of like now listing off and you don't care anymore. So you have to learn how to shift gears on people. You never want to control the situation and let them know they're controlling the situation. That you have to keep people, again, I say this all the time, keep them on their heels. You never want to give a person to actually get their feet set when you're selling them something. You never, ever want anyone's feet set when you're selling them something. And if you take a look, you see the ads that are happening now. Look at the shit you've bought in the last, years from ad marketing. The screen changes quick. The words are right under people's mouths. This is not, happenstance. This is money that we've spent doing the research to see exactly how long a screen has to change before someone stops watching the ad. Think about ads from 2015. It was just a product. The product was on a Lazy Susan spinning, and you'd probably buy it. That will not work anymore. You're laughing because you bought that stuff. See, you're guilty of buying that stuff. But now look, now there's these overproduced videos with all these jump cuts and all these transitions to sell like anything, laundry detergent. It's just so overdone now because we have the data, we have the AI data, and we know exactly what's happening behind the scenes. I know when you stopped watching that video. We all know when you stopped watching it. So now you'll see a jump cut every 2.3 seconds or 1.2 seconds. And if I have subtitles, they're right under my mouth to keep you engaged. You're still watching my video, but you're still reading. Because if you did not know this, if you're doing any kind of thing where you have subtitles or you're using your big punctuation, if it's underneath you, directly like under your body, you're going to lose people. You need them directly under your mouth. I don't know why this is a thing, but this is definitely a thing.
Good to know.
And little things like that will it's all about retention. Today it's all retention. It's not even about the sale anymore. It's more retention. If they can keep you there long enough, you're going to spend the money.
So, what's interesting, and I'll put this out for everyone, and I want to hear Yanni's question, because something I've noticed, because I pay attention to this, I pay attention deeply to human psychology, as a coach, as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, as a salesperson, I'm fascinated by people for a multitude of reasons. And what you said, right, Ferrari, with the retention, over the weekend, I found myself watching and studying some of the most famous YouTubers, just going and watching some of their content. So the first thing I noticed, you're absolutely right. Like, go watch the Mr. Beast video, right? I literally was counting out loud how long it took for the frame change, right? 1, 2, frame change. 1, 2, 3, frame change. 1, 2. It never lasted. They never stayed on a single frame for more than 3 seconds.
Nope.
For an entire 20-minute video, it never stayed on a single frame for more than 3 seconds, which is showing us that people's attention is getting shorter and shorter and shorter.
100%.
When it comes to marketing, we have to fight to get the person's attention. We have to fight to hold their attention once we get it. This is for everyone's business. I don't care what business you think you're in. Your business has to market, and you've got to be able to grab their attention away from all the other things that are already grabbing their attention, to hold them steady. It's not an easy task. You are not your customer most of the time. You are a very interesting group of people that you're able to stay focused and hang out and listen to podcasts and be in a Zoom call for an hour or 2 hours at a time. You are not the 95% of the population that you go out and serve.
No, they're not consumers. They're not, or they wouldn't be on this call.
So you have to remember that. Like you guys, like I really want you to understand that, because sometimes we make the cardinal sin of saying, well, it wouldn't work on me. Of course it wouldn't work on you. Right. Like Ferrari just said, and the funny thing is, though, although we say it wouldn't work on us, the truth is it still does work on us, just not as regularly. Because
The blatant stuff doesn't work on the blatant stuff. But it's the microaggressions that work on everybody.
Which is insane.
That's why you started laughing, because you realized, oh shit, someone sold me something without telling me something.
It happens every day. You know, so it's ultimately we want to make sure that it's happening towards our business in our favor. The way I look at it is this is a skill that you need to learn, because if you're an honest entrepreneur, if you have an honest product, if you have an honest service, you know how you're going to take care of people. You don't necessarily know how the rest of the marketplace is going to take care of people. Therefore, you're doing the people that you can serve a disservice if you allow them to go and be served by someone else who might do a piss poor job. Right? Like
100%.
Yanni is amazing at what she does. She does home staging, right? If she lets those people work with other people, other stagers, she can't necessarily she can't guarantee the quality of work. Right? So, and Yanni, you got your hand raised. I want to hear your question. I know we just pulled you out.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Hi, everyone. Oh my
Hello.
God, this is amazing. Thank you so much.
Always.
I have a question. The Meta business, how does affect to use it? Because I know when you market on Meta business, Facebook and Instagram are the same post at the same time, simultaneously. How does that affect the algorithm and also the pixels?
So I'm just going to speak in terms of your business. So you do home staging, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you would be targeting people within the area you're going to be working in. So 50 to 75 mile radius. You would be leeching off of people that are currently on Reddit, especially Reddit threads about how long does it take to close, or how long does it take to sell a home. So that would free game right there. You don't really want to worry about the ones that are following Zillow, but the people that you're targeting, you want to stagger your posts. You never want to let Meta give you a Facebook and an Instagram post at the same time. I'm going to explain why. The pixel should, so let's say you are doing Facebook and Instagram. You're selling homes, so you're definitely on Facebook. So now you should have a pixel just for Facebook and a pixel just for Instagram. The Instagram audience, some people think it's younger. It's not. It's just they have a shorter attention span and they don't want to be on Facebook. That's really all it really is. TikTok's a completely different monster, though. So if you're having an issue with your cross-population of your pixel, which I think that's what the problem is, you're always going to get a mixed bag between Instagram and Facebook. If you're not selling one specific thing to one specific person, split your pixels up. So you can have business one, which is Instagram, pixel business, pixel two, Instagram or Facebook, switch it up. Funnel your marketing from one to the other. So if you have your Instagram, just do your ads on Instagram. Don't post them at the same time. Don't even post the same type of video. I'm going to explain why. The retention on Facebook is completely different from Instagram. So Instagram, like I said, they want the jump cuts. They want the transition changes. Instagram wants to know that people want to see it. So your ad's going to get fed completely different. So if your Facebook ad and your Instagram ad are competing on a bid base, because that's what you're doing bid based. So if you're competing against every other single person that is offering the service you're offering, and if their marketing is better than yours, your bid is going to cost more. So if you normally would have spent 63 to 85 cents a click, if you can't get a click because the algorithm is under the impression that no one wants to see your video, you could spend $2, $3, $4, $5 a click. You don't ever want to go over 80 cents. I don't care what you're selling. The conversion may cost you more, but the click should never be over 80 cents. So split them up because your audience is going to be completely different. Instagram, you may have your younger audience, yes, but the retention on Facebook and the retention on Instagram are completely different.
That is great. And now I have another question that came from that. Okay, so you said like to post different videos or different contents from Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
However, can you still use Meta Business for both to schedule
Yes.
on different time and different contents?
Yes, absolutely. What you can do is you can just complete a different ad set. Don't even put them on the same ad set. They're not competing against each other. You don't need the information from Meta to give you Facebook's information. You need the information from Facebook to give you Facebook's information. If you're looking at a complete compilement, you don't know what's what until you look at it. So do an ad set, a completely different ad set. Even if you're going to do split testing, give Instagram its own ad set completely. Don't stagger the posts, do completely different ad sets. An idea for an Instagram video, even if you hire someone to do transitions, do a completely different transitional video for Instagram. So you can, instead of doing a before and after reveal, that's more for Facebook. That's more of a dead video now. That won't get the same wow effect unless it's coming off of organic content. Because people love seeing before and afters, but they'd be more inclined to look at, swing ups and swing downs. So, having high transitions. There's a book, I don't know the guy's last name, it's Mario something. He has like a small ebook for like $10 on how to do transitions. That's the kind of marketing you want to do on Instagram. You don't want to do the older style transitions. You don't want to do before and afters. You want to save that for Facebook. That's for the older crowd. That's for the easier retention because they want the reveal. Instagram, you have to keep it constantly moving. So definitely split that into 2 complete ad sets.
Don't utilize Meta Business for it.
Yes, on both. They will give you all of the information. The analytics and the breakdown will still be completely the same. The only difference is you're not sifting through data between Instagram and Facebook. It's all right in front of you in your heads-up display.
Okay.
You got that,
Woo!
Yana?
Thank you so much.
Always.
That
I love
was so fire. Oh my
Yep.
God.
And Yana, you'll be able to access the replay as well. Because Ferrari, like the first time I listened to Ferrari, I was like, dude, you know a lot. And you go quick. And I was like, I had to go back and rewatch. I was like, all right, like let me watch it at 0.5 speed. Like sometimes you watch people at 2x because like they go too slow. I watched Ferrari at like 0.5 and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's just regurgitated information. I can't help it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You've been in the space so long. So it's like, I get it, man. Like there's certain things like when I'm talking about it, like
over
it's
intentionally. Yeah.
yeah, it's in your mind. And then Paige had asked a question if you recommend any books. I know you just said like Mario, as far as like for IG transitions. But Paige asked, do you have any books that you recommend for more info on marketing, like things that would potentially give like a person a good framework and a good understanding of really how to even view marketing and understanding it from, just a principle standpoint?
What kind of marketing do you want to do? That would greatly affect what I recommend.
So I run a core business, and I help investors get their deals to close, right? However, my social media, my child, he's so cute. Look at him today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of no clue about this marketing stuff, but it sounds so interesting. In fact, marketing was my least favorite business class I ever took. So I kind of need to catch up to speed. What do you recommend?
Okay, so you're starting from the ground up.
Very much.
Some of Russell Brunson stuff. It's very ClickFunnels based, but you'll understand more about the discussion of pain points. Some of this stuff is it is psychology. There's a lot of psychology that goes into this. I did take psych in college, and I literally did it for this sole purpose. But what you want to do is, one, your social media should not be about your kids. It shouldn't be about you personally. It is about what you're giving other people at this point. If you do want to open a social media for that, then do that. But if this is your business social media and you're running ads about how you can get people to close and get it in the fastest amount of time, more efficiently, lowest closing costs, best rates, you got all the loan officers in your pocket. They don't want to see pictures of your kids. They want to see the relationship with the loan officers. They want to see the relationships. They want to see the sold signs. They want to see people, praising you. And the other stuff really doesn't help them ascertain whether or not you're capable of doing what you say you do. They just know that you spent money to get them there. So there's nothing wrong with a personal page. I have a personal page. I don't even have it. I'm like a ghost. I'm going to be completely honest with you. But if this is what you want to put forward, then you need to put just that forward. People don't want to have to scroll and sift. They need to be able to click your page and go, oh shit, yeah, I'm getting her. That's it. They don't have time to decide. You have to decide for them.
Mm,
That's huge. You know,
I love that.
I want to throw some fire on that flame because it's something that you're going to see and realize, and you guys should all pay attention to this. Pay attention to the power of social proof. Pay attention to the power of like mob psychology, of the idea that when other people buy in, it's easier for you to buy in. So what do we all do when we go to a new product or a new service that we're not quite sure of? We start looking on their landing page and we're looking at the testimonials, right? When we see those videos or we see those Facebook reviews or those comments, or when we go to Yelp and we go to these pages, right? Like, why do we trust a restaurant in the middle of the town that we've never been to? Because we went on Yelp and it said 5 stars and a bunch of people were talking about it. We're taking advice from a bunch of strangers. Why is Amazon so awesome? We go on Amazon, we look at the product and we read reviews from total strangers. Right? Social proof is huge. So Ferrari's saying that, like, as far as like making sure that your page is demonstrating the social proof of other people having worked with you, having excelled, having gotten the results that they would potentially get. Guys, like, I've done my real estate business where I've gotten private money lenders to lend with me because they got to see other people talking about how they lend with me. I've had sellers when they said, who the heck are you, right? When I'm talking to homeowners and I'm telling them, I'm cold calling them out of nowhere and I'm telling them that I could buy their house. And they say, well, who are you? I've never even heard of you. I would send them to my Instagram. And the reason I sent them there is because on my social media, on my Instagram and on my Facebook, it had me talking about real estate. It had me talking about deals. It had me showing that I do what I say I do. So that's huge.
100%. Even if you have photos with your past clients, there's nothing wrong with batch uploading all of the information. People change their lives and change their presence on social media all the time. It won't look fishy. I mean, you're not offering people, crypto deals. So that's the only time it looks really, weird and suspect. But other than that, if you have, even text messages, batch upload and change your entire social media. Unfollow your friends. Yeah. Don't follow your friends on social media. You need Instagram to know exactly who you're trying to deal with. If you're following, 1,000 people and 350 of them you went to school, 100 of them you're related to, half of your target audience is random people. They don't know to say, oh, if you're following MG the mortgage guy, you might want to follow this one too. Then they'll start recommending you as well. But if you're following these pages that they're not businesses too, they're not doing anything in your targeted niche. They're just folks that you know, and you still know them even if you unfollow them. Let Instagram work for you as well.
Wait a second. That's huge. I've never heard anyone give that advice. So when
not for free, no. Not for free.
Bro, like that's low-key fire. Cause like I see people all the time. And like I was doing this like for other reasons, but now it's about to get even more cutthroat on my social media where I was unfollowing people. So essentially, if I'm using my social media, if I'm using Instagram in particular, if I'm using my Instagram for business and I want the algorithms to help me grow in my business, I really shouldn't be following anyone unless it pertains to my business and has the ability to grow my business. So I shouldn't just be following all those random pages just for the hell of it. Or
no,
friends who aren't
never. Your friends, if your friend is not in the same business as you, or they're not doing private lending or something that will help push along what you're doing, even then, it's still a separate business from what you're specifically doing. Get rid of them. They have to go. Make a personal page. There are other pages for that. But, if you're selling homes and you're following other realtors, other home selling gurus and other real estate gurus and wholesaling gurus, when people follow one of them, they will offer up more of like-minded individuals and you'll be on that list eventually. It's so AI based now. There's no people involved in this anymore. None. There's no human beings involved in any of this anymore. And if you don't tell the machine what it needs to know, it's not going to help you.
That's big. Guys, like I seriously hope like later today when I go and look at your social medias that I see that you're following less people, right? Like for a multitude of reasons. But now I'm finding out that there's potential business benefits of it, that there's potential that AI will put you in front of, it's more likely to put you in front of the right crowds, which makes sense. It only makes sense.
Absolutely. It changes so much. Like people thought back in the day, like on the Twitter days when we were following 1 or 2 people, it was because we wanted to look like we were special. That's not why. You can get 10% more followers just by following nobody but the couple of people you want of their following. You know, there's bots that I've written that unfollow celebrities and follow them all day, off and on, all day. Why would I do something so stupid like that, right? When you click who's following a celebrity, the first thing you see is the last person that followed them. Why would I not want to be at the top of that list all day? Why would I not want to be at the top of that list all day?
That's smart. Yeah, that's wicked smart. It's like, see, it's little things like this that make
And it's free. That's free. Go follow a massive celebrity and watch what happens. You may get a couple of bots, but if you follow like-minded celebrities all day, off and on, and just respond to their posts and interact with them, it will change the trajectory of your whole account.
Loki.
The whole account.
I picked up a lot of followers when I was first building out my Instagram. I picked up a lot of followers by going to like Bob Proctor pages and Tony Robbins pages and like just commenting and leaving comments there and interacting. And people started interacting with me in there. And there's a whole community in the comment section.
Yeah, of course. You want to do free ad marketing? You want to do some free ad marketing? Everyone in here, when someone's ad hits your dashboard and it's in your niche, offer up positive information reinforcing what that person said. Don't even go, I can do it cheaper. That is the worst thing you can do to a person. And honestly, there's a whole group of folks on Meta that will catch you doing that and you'll start getting shadow banned. But offer up information. If you know, Marlon, if you see somebody, you know, let's say a real estate guru is offering up information or a free webinar, or they're telling you, you know, how funding is so massively important and there's people on there, oh, this is a scam. No, break down why it's not a scam. If they offer anything else up, that's completely up to you, but you need to be on as many of these things as possible because there's ads running on it. Why not put yourself there in a positive light and offer up more gems? Don't poach, just offer up gems. It's landing on your dashboard any damn way.
So Ferrari, I got a question for you. And you know, you and I like connected deeply over this because we had very, very, very similar core values. And we're talking about this idea of, you know, ultimately, like when we're selling product and we're selling services to be a person that truly can deliver and like that, we're people that are taking our own medicine. And there's a principle that I live by, which is like the law of sowing and reaping, that like you get what you give. When you're in the space of marketing and you're in this space, is that something that you found to be true, right? Because you've marketed with, you know, a ton of money, like close to $500 million in marketing ad spend. You know, did you find that like when you're looking at it, how does that principle of what you give is what you get, the law of sowing and reaping, how does that fit into what you've seen from business?
Especially in the marketing field, it's all word of mouth. You know, there's new agencies popping up left and right for aspiring artists and, you know, guys that need their back end worked on and yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, the big jobs, they never land on anyone's desk. Just the same way with real estate. How many deals have you caught that never made it to Zillow because you had somebody with the MLS and it was on the inside? It's the same way. You know, it's like, oh, I heard you worked on such and such a campaign. We need you here. Or I heard you worked on, you know, building Sleep Number to where it is now. How much would it cost to bring you here? I had Disney and Lucasfilm literally fighting over me for like 2 years, and I just wanted to stay freelance. But it's all word of mouth. It's when you do good work, especially when you're helping other people, it's not even about getting them to their goal. It's about getting them to their goal and then setting them up for success. You know, you could tell somebody, I'm going to help you lose 20 pounds. But if you can help them lose the 20 pounds and then help them stay healthy for the rest of their life, then you truly did your job.
You know, it's funny. I made a post today. I made a video today. I didn't post it yet. I was going to post it on social media. I just got caught up with work. And a part of it was essentially having this conversation with people that to remember something that we call lifetime value, right? The lifetime value of a person, lifetime value of a customer. That after you do that initial sale, and you know, even like my people in the real estate space, like we know this, right? Like after maybe I buy a home from somebody, if I build lifetime value with that person, it's not a one and done transaction. That person becomes the private money lender. That person becomes a testimonial that leads into more business. So often we forget after we make that initial transaction, we become very transactional, not relational. And we don't look at receiving more value from people, really pouring more value into them and working with them, cultivating that relationship for a much longer period of time.
Absolutely. At 100%. 100%. It's scary how true that is, because a lot of companies, especially ones that I've worked with, have a habit of treating people like numbers. And I hate that. I'm completely against it. I'm not in that field, so it really doesn't pertain to me, but I do see sometimes how it's done. Especially, everybody at one point or another is going to need help somewhere along the line. And I think everybody kind of forgets that. We're focusing on being entrepreneurs and growing our businesses, and I don't have time for this. And that's a constant line. I hear a lot of people, in my mentorships, other people's mentorships, it's like, well, we don't have time for this because we're going here. But it's like that guy that asked you that one little question outside of the scope of what you were paid for would not have taken that much from you. I like closing up my desk, when I'm working with somebody, whatever company it is, we needed 100K in ad spend. All right, we spent that, I take my 20%, job's done. But also, here's all your market data. Also, here's your core demographic. Here's how you can retarget these. So I'm just going to hand it back to them like you hired me because you didn't know what you were doing. Why am I going to give it back to you in a place where it's unsustainable for you now? It doesn't make any sense.
You gotta serve. It's It's the power of over delivering. It's the power of serving, and
Absolutely.
you need to remember that.
Absolutely. It's not that difficult. You would want it done if you were on the receiving end of it. That's just how I feel about it.
So that's something that you should all think and ask yourselves tonight, right? Like when you're in business, right? You're being efficient, you're being effective. And I want to highlight this because it's going to come full circle. And this is why we have such a long conversation. When we look at over serving and over delivering and bringing that value, remember, we started off in the very beginning of identifying that we're talking to the right people. Because sometimes we think we're over delivering and we're giving so much value, but if we're talking to the wrong person, the truth is we're not actually giving value, right? It's like mental masturbation at that point. Like we think we're doing something good. It feels good to us, but it's not actually bringing any good to the rest of the world.
No, agreed.
So we've got to have that balance of once we identify, and this is why marketing is so dang important. Finding the right people. Making sure that there's people that you can actually work with, make sure that there are people that you can actually solve their problem. And then not only solve their problem, take care of the problems that they don't even know are going to come up. Right? Like just be that guy, be that gal.
Yeah. It's very easy to sew yourself into someone's life once they've let you in. It's harder to get back in once they've cut you off because you didn't know what you were supposed to do.
Ooh.
You can stay there forever. Like I tell people all the time, once you've extracted $1 from somebody, because that's all this is, we're just extracting money from each other. But once you've gotten that first sale, if that first sale was way more than they thought they were going to get, your email marketing is most likely to pop better. If they're paying you for one thing and you gave them 5, you have a better chance of your email marketing hitting, your upsells hitting. People will come back to you and they will also recommend you to other people. And that I don't understand why we do these hard sales, because it's like, okay, this is what you paid me for. This is what you got. I have people come to me, hey, I need some press. Cool. We'll do a write-up on you. We'll put you in a space where, you're authoritative. We'll get you on the right spot. We'll try and get you like 5 or 10 magazines. Turn around, the PDF has like 400 articles on it. Most of them are ranked in Google. It didn't cost me anything else. I jumped on the phone with people I built relationships with. And I was like, hey, this guy has no presence. This woman has no presence. We need this here. We need this in place because they have no social proof anywhere else. Done. Didn't cost me anything else. 10, 20 minutes of my time on the phone with a few people. And now they're in a position where they can win and come back to me to spend more money. If they don't get the sales they need, once this first job's done, they're kind of back to square one. They made back their investment. Cool. But now that they have all this crazy social proof and they have all these upsells and people trust them because of what I did on the back end behind the scenes, now they're back to spend more money. Maybe this time they want a higher tiered article. Maybe this time, they want to spend $500,000 in ads. But they can't do that if I don't put them in a position in the first place.
I freaking love it. Like, are you guys getting some value tonight? Is this helpful? Are you learning something new? right? Because this is where you want to be thinking, right? Like guys, like when I was fortunate enough to come across Ferrari and to really like let's even like hear him speak for the first time, I was like, holy crap, like this dude, not only does he know his stuff, like the experience that he's been through. In fact, guys, like you all know this. Go check out my podcast. I did a podcast episode with Ferrari where we broke down his history. We broke down what got him to this point of knowing what he knows, because this isn't information that he read about in a book. This is information he lived.
No, they're still not even teaching this stuff in school yet. Not yet. Soon enough, I'm sure. But does anyone need help with their marketing right now? Because I have time, and instead of paying somebody 5-10 grand, raise your hand now, because I will never do this again.
This is the opportunity. There we go. Paige is, I love Paige. She's like, I'm an action taker. What do we got, Paige? And let me help you with that unmute button.
So listen, it is bedtime over here in Cleveland, Ohio. I can't sleep for 2 or 3 hours. So Ferrari, I know that we already spoke about like getting, making my social media more business focused instead of kids focused. And I can do like my personal and my professional page. But for me as a transaction coordinator, I have no clue who I should target as far as like marketing or anything like that. I have a feeling I should do like people who are big in the industry who are doing like 10 to 15 contracts a month. However, how do I find that person? Like I'm trying to think about what are they thinking about and what are they Googling to get there? You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. First thing you want to do is check the hashtag sold. That's your first step. And that's pretty much all you're going to need. You can just scour that entire hashtag. That's it. That's all you need. Your job's so easy. Find those folks who are getting these closings. If you find guy 1, girl 1, see when their next post is. If they have 8 or 9, sold posts in a week standing next to somebody, that might be somebody you want to deal with. But if they have one in 2013 and then another one in 2019, you can take them off the list. You can compile a nice quick list. Actually, you can feed that list to ChatGPT and tell it to refine the list. And you can go from there.
That's smart.
Interesting. I didn't know ChatGPT could even do that, to be honest.
Yeah, we have a course coming out Monday of next week on how to actually use this thing properly. We kind of started a brand new business. We started a brand new Stripe, and we did like 50 grand in a month using just the automations that are involved with it. And I'm trying to bring this to the masses now. We've incorporated it into YouTube automation. We've incorporated it into email marketing, affiliate marketing. This thing is dangerous, and properly used and honed in with the right prompts. It's some nasty stuff, and it's free money. So we're trying to make it where anyone can use it right now. There's some prompting involved that I want everyone to understand it. That's basically what it is. So that's what we're kind of putting together now.
Okay. So you're a great marketer. How can I get a part of your class?
I appreciate that. You can just simply tap with me. I will be putting my contact information, or you guys can get it from Marlon. You guys can reach out to me at any time. Anybody who wants to get involved. We are doing an early bird for like $487 for everybody to get in for AI domination. I know there are like, as of last week, there were like, I think 6 spots left. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, even though this is recorded. Do not quote me. But I will have to check that. But anyone that is interested can just follow with me, follow with Marlon. I'm pretty easy to find.
Okay, I'm gonna follow you right now and then follow up, because I would love to be a part of that AI domination. That sounds amazing.
Appreciate it.
Yep. And guys, I'll drop that link inside the Circle app as well. So for anyone that's like looking for it later too, we'll definitely get it inside there for y'all.
Yeah, you can hit me on Discord. You can hit me on Twitter. Instagram's kind of hard to find me. Some people can't find me on there. And plus, I'm not that active on what looks like my personal Instagram. My business Instagrams, they're manned by VAs, so you probably will never get to speak to me personally. But Twitter and Discord, I am super active.
Love it. All right. Yo, David, what's the question, bro?
So fire, and I would say even just overwhelming. So I'm probably even have the right question to ask, because but I just knew when he said, hey, raise your hand because it's an opportunity. I just felt that way. So yeah, I'm just excited to reach out. I think I would need to go maybe general and take a step back and look at what I would be looking to do, whether it's just getting you know, introduce myself to the world as a real estate professional. I've been doing deals for about a year now, but haven't really brought that to the world so much. I kind of wanted to do some things, and it's kind of new. So yeah, I'm kind of just getting started and even thinking about how I would do that and implement that with my personality. I do a couple other things that I'm, music and artistry and acting that I really want to, the next, 2 to 4 years, I'm going to be really heavy, specifically into real estate.
So what light do you want to carve yourself in currently? Your introduction to potential client A, what do you feel? Because when you overwhelm people with doing all of these other things, the layman, not another entrepreneur, will think you're all over the place. So in normal terms of even simple introductions, if you don't have enough time to get what you're saying across, so sometimes the numbers and how they're put in context can build your self-authority just by speaking. So some people go, I've been doing XYZ for 12 years. That's the worst thing you can do. So you want to refine that down into something more authoritative, like I've been doing this for over a decade. You don't have to get finite. It just sounds more broad spectrum, and it gives you more longevity and more authority. So you don't have to open it up with, hey, I've been doing real estate for a year. If I'm selling a house, you lost me right there. That is too much information until you've been on that road longer. If I was selling my house and you were doing like cold calls or just, knocking on doors like, hey, I see you trying to sell your house, blah, blah, blah. I've been doing this for a year. I'm done. I've already disconnected. Yeah, I'm going to let you talk because I'm not rude, but we're done. You just don't know it. So you have to find another way to approach that person. And you have to find a way to kind of disconnect yourself from everything else that you're doing, aside from what's going to help them at that moment. I do appreciate the introduction, the music, the arts. You can incorporate the fact that, you're into the arts and you have a better connection with most people. So you should be comfortable around other folks. So I would build that and try and get myself on the phone and in person with as many people as possible. Because when you're in the arts, you got a ton of people in your face all the time. You're comfortable. You're probably not ever uncomfortable around people ever in life. You need to take that and build on that. Never give up the whole year thing. That guy's with you today. Never tell anybody, especially motivated sellers or people that are in the business or been there longer. They're going to akin it to like, okay, I know where I was at a year. You could be 100 steps ahead of them where they were at that 1 year, but being that they weren't that good a year in, they're going to assume you're not too. That stays with you. That's personal.
It's just worth it right there. So I appreciate that honest feedback.
Always.
That's beautiful.
Always.
Bro, I love that. And then Tawana, she had asked, and there she is. So she asked, she said, I door knock pre-foreclosure. So she goes out, she actually knocks on people's doors who are in pre-foreclosure, and she sees if they're interested in selling their homes. What would you suggest to dial into my marketing?
Ooh, you have to handle that situation with a lot of care. You want to put urgency on the sale and the reality of it, but also they're staring down a barrel they never thought they'd be staring down. So you have to take all of that into consideration. Are you doing internet marketing, or is it more of a person-to-person, face-to-face thing?
She's on a cycle. I think she's trying to unmute. I know she's doing more face-to-face though. Yep,
okay.
Nod. Yep.
So I would have prepared packages so it wouldn't seem like a pressure sale. Because I can tell you from experience with dealing in this field, I helped out a couple of people that did this, and they lost a lot of people because they got very aggressive, very belligerent, because it's like, this is my home. I'm trying to most people, and especially parents with children, are still in that protecting mode. So you have to get into the psychology of the person that you're trying to help them. they're just not seeing it right now. So you need to leave this in a place where they have an entire package, everything built out, who you've helped, how you've helped them relocate before, the gavel dropped on them, but also create the urgency, but don't sell them anything. You need to create the urgency because their time is massively limited, but they don't need to be reminded of their shortcomings. So if you can make it seem like you're helping them and you understand and you've been there, they can connect with you on a personal level because that's what they need. They need help right now, but they also need somebody that they can trust with their sensitive information, and they're embarrassed. This is the biggest thing they can lose right now. So you always have to keep that in mind when you're building out what you're building for them, but you don't want to just knock on a door and go, hey, you're about to get kicked out. Let me help you, mitigate the risk and the expense. No one wants to hear that. So come with a prepared package and make sure, they're treated with the respect they're probably not getting treated with by the bank right now.
That's big. Tawana, does that help? Also, Tawana, you're muted still in case you're talking right now. I see it. She's getting at it on the bike right now. Awesome. So I'm gonna take that smile as yes, it was helpful. Yo, so if no one else has any questions, guys, this is your last opportunity to have questions, because if not, I want to say thank you to Ferrari for making time to be inside here, like late night. Like this was a last minute ask. Like I asked him very last minute. He's extremely busy all the time. And for him to pop out, to come inside here, to answer you guys' questions, to serve, to bring value, I am extremely appreciative. Ferrari, if people want to connect with you, one, if they're interested in checking out the AI course, and if they want to connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that? What's the best way for them to get connected?
They can catch me on Discord. For those looking to already move forward, if you're 100% sold, you want to just move into the space before the spots fill up. There is a text link where you can just text us. We have a reroute going right now. I'll just drop it in here. You can just reach out. It will be active for 48 hours, and then it will no longer work. I can be reached on Discord. I will drop that here too, because it is a little tricky. And I'm always on Twitter, just checking my DMs. I don't tweet on there much, but I'm always checking the DMs because I'm on sort of like a political retainer right now for whatever that's going on. And we have like a private messenger system, but I can still see anybody else that DMs me.
Let's go. I'm loving this.
Yeah, get that organized for sure. Everyone should be running ads. It's definitely integral to your business. Please, start educating yourself tonight. There's so much free information out there, and ads are a very trial by fire situation. So you can't be afraid to lose money. You're losing money by not running the ads anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how much are you losing for spending versus not spending.
That's huge. And Raphael, you got a question while Ferrari's typing?
Hey man, I wanted to first of all, say thank you for showing up and
Always.
providing so much value. I was always scared of Facebook ads, but I'm definitely what I plan to do is start Facebook ads by offering a free ebook. I have a small cleaning business, so it's probably very local here to New Jersey and probably part of Manhattan. And I've learned to by being in this mindset group to give value first. So I'm giving up a free ebook on how cleaning can help, your lifestyle and the mindset behind cleaning. And in turn, they'll give up some information like phone number, email address, so I can start a campaign there and have a my CRM. But I appreciate the advice that you gave us.
Absolutely. Your ebook lead magnet would kind of be unnecessary in your field because you could sell it. So instead of giving it away for free, you only need people in a finite area. So what I would do is I would go start running ads. Don't even wait. Take the zip codes that you work with primarily, even look at your last, top jobs, and do a 30 to 40 mile radius around those zip codes. Run ads to only those people in those zip codes. That's it. You're not going to spend that much money.
Oh, that's great. That's great news. So you're saying don't give the ebook out for free.
You don't need to give it out for free because you're only dealing with a finite amount of people anyway. It isn't like a global thing. If you're going to teach people now to how to start a cleaning business or something along that line, yes. But if you're just using it as a lead magnet to get clients for your cleaning business, it's not necessary. They already know they need their shit cleaned, to be honest with you. So what you should do is just find those zip codes and run, like I said, maybe 30, 50 at the most, wherever you're willing to travel. Run ads real quick. You can go to mom groups, leech the mom groups, because those are the ones that don't want to clean. Your job's done. That's it. Nice and cheap.
Oh man, I appreciate that so much.
Always.
Start your own cleaning business is next.
Yeah. There you go.
I appreciate you, man. We're gonna be following up with you.
All right.
I am running an ad right now looking for employees, and I already had it reach out to 2,600 people so far that click on it, and 2 people have contacted me over the weekend. So I think that's good, right?
Yeah, that's definitely good. What were those? Was those free clicks?
Yes, they were free clips.
Well, then that's always good. Anyone that's contacting you back, make sure you're logging their information for email marketing purposes. You always want to tap back in with these people, whether or not they convert or not. Just keep them on a list. You got to keep these people handy because at one point or another they were interested.
Okay. Yeah, I already talking to them.
Good. Now you have to get them to convert.
Yes. Thank
Oh, I
you.
love it. Yo, so Ferrari, I got inside our circle community. I got the phone number, the 518-698-9630. So they can text you there. And if they text you, I'll get them access to the AI channel, not the AI channel, but the AI course.
Yeah, for the next 48 hours, we're gonna have that route to my direct number. I'm giving my primary VA a vacation for 2 days because she made a mistake and ended up having to do some back end work and killed her weekend. So I'm taking, the responsibility, giving her back her weekend for the next 2 days. So I'm having all of my stuff routed directly to myself. So yeah,
Awesome.
Anybody in 48 hours, if you reach that number, you will get me directly. And anyone that wants in, like I said, I think we have 6 or 8 spots. I'm not really sure at the moment. I haven't had a chance to go through all of it, but the early bird access is still $497. There's a lot that's going to be covered in there. Anyone that's interested in anything else that I cover, you're more than welcome to ask me about that. I've done YouTube automation for like 4 or 5 years. I've been behind about 42 channels. I think 19 of them have play buttons. I've done, all the marketing in the world. I'm trying to help everyone set up their business right now for free. If you still have questions, concerns, like I'm trying to help anyone knock this out so they can get started either right now or tomorrow. So if you have any inner workings or any marketing questions, like I said, it's all free tonight.
Guys, like this is
Even if you asked before, you can ask again if you have more questions.
this is the opportunity to ask the sort of questions that you want to know.
My retainer is $9,000. Please take advantage of this.
I have a question because I am having a VA and I am training her to do all my marketing, and she likes it and she wants to learn more. I was wondering when they're going to be that class so I can have her taking that class for me.
Keep in mind, if you train your AI, if you train your VA with AI, your VA may get busy doing other things. I'm all for it if you want them to take the class. I'm just letting you know, you can keep them more productive, but you may end up losing your VA. If you're okay with that, I'm okay with that. I think you should take the course yourself.
I am open to hear everything that you have to say. So I appreciate that you tell me that. So I take the class and I teach her.
Yes, I would do that instead because you're probably going to lose her. There's a lot going on in there, and there's a lot of avenues to make money for yourself, and she probably won't be working for you much more after that. I'm going to be honest with you.
I see. Perfect.
Guys, like I've leveraged AI, I've leveraged ChatGPT, I've leveraged a few other AIs, and it's insane the amount of work that it does for you if you understand how to utilize it as a tool. I mean, I've gotten weeks worth of work done in an afternoon, like at the airport. That's how powerful this stuff is. Like that's what I've been doing. Like when you guys seen me hanging out in the Centurion Lounge these last couple of flights, I've just been hanging out inside there, like just learning how to prompt the AI and having it write out my emails, having it write out like different scripts. Like I literally had it write a contract for me, by the way, to get a tenant out of our house. Like that would have been probably like a $1,200 attorney expense that my AI took care of.
Yeah, do not sleep AI. He's 100% right. Fun fact, our last 10 channels are completely all done by AI.
Let's go.
All of it. I sat down and like I told you, I've been speaking to ChatGPT since its infancy, and mine is a little bit different from everybody else's, but you'll learn to teach it things. So mine knows things that most don't know, but also anyone that's using it currently and doesn't really know exactly how to get what they need out of it, teach it. It doesn't know everything.
Mm-hmm. You know, interesting. I'm curious to hear your feedback on this, Ferrari, and then I want to hear what Chris has to say. I've been, you know, a few weeks ago, I had the idea of like, oh, I could just use ChatGPT as my personal assistant because I always like forget stuff. Like, you know, like my partner will sometimes ask me like, hey, what's going on with this? Or what's this? What's this? And I was like, you know, I'm just going to start telling ChatGPT everything. So then when he asks me, I can just ask ChatGPT because I find the toughest thing is sometimes just finding information. It's like, you know, the information's there, but like, I just want to be able to dictate and just ask, you know, hey, where's this? What's this number at? Where are we up to date? Hey, what did we say we were going to do with this? Have you been finding people leveraging ChatGPT that way, using it as essentially a secretary?
I do it myself. I'm going to be honest with you. I will sit down maybe once every other week and give it the entire itinerary for what I have going on first. And I've been working with it for about maybe, I don't know how many months, but it knows how efficient I am at certain things. So I would ask it to prioritize things versus how quickly I can get them done efficiently and how much I can delegate to ChatGPT itself. And then I will ask it, what can you, delegate that, maybe I can just give you the information that you need to take care of this for me. It's a full-blown conversation you need to have with it. And it will prioritize things in order. I'm on a bunch of different podcasts. We do all the bullet points, all the storyboarding. I do it all through the AI, all of it.
You guys see how like what's interesting here is what I found is when we look at AI, some of us are so impressed by it and we think it's going to take over the world, but we still forget like it's a dance, it's a tool, right? It still requires the human. It's like a paintbrush didn't take over paintings. It still required an artist to use the paintbrush. So this thing is still the same way, and learning how different people are using it, really like figuring out like there's multiple ways to have conversations with it. There's creative ways to use this new technology that haven't even been thought of yet.
No, it is 100% right. I'm still learning. And, I'm basically by trade now a prompt engineer. Like I actually have the prompt engineer title, and I'm still, every other day I'll run into something that it does and I'm like, Jesus, I can't believe it just did that. And it's like, it's making our lives easier, but it's you have to treat it akin to a battlefield. And you have to sharpen your version of ChatGPT sharper than everybody else's, or you're not going to get the most out of it. Plain and simple.
Did any of you catch that? Like, how many of you, because I'm going to be honest, until Ferrari said that, it never even occurred to me that we all have different versions of ChatGPT. Right? Like, it never even occurred to me.
I can give it a command for a YouTube script, and my script will be completely proficient because it knows exactly what it needs. It will annotate all of the jump cuts. I can just hand this to one of my automation team people, and it eliminated 3 jobs.
I got a question. When you're training chat, are you able to have it read other conversations that you've had with inside of it? Like essentially, are all the conversations like totally different? Are you looking at them as like different entities and different people, or are the conversations able to communicate with one another?
No, it does retain all the information on that specific login. So everything that you pour into it, it will retain that information.
Right. So on that particular login, but then each conversation, is it its own conversation, or can this conversation also interact with this conversation?
It's its own topic, but if you fed it necessary relative information for another topic and you're in a new chat, it will retain that information.
That's awesome. Because that's what I've been doing. I've been going back and like, I will go back in their chat logs. And if you got, how many of you are using ChatGPT? Like put a 1 in the chat if you're already using ChatGPT, put a 2 in the chat if you're not using it yet. And if you're like, what the hell is ChatGPT? Like, oh my gosh. Okay, David, we gotta get you on chat. Kevin, we gotta get you guys utilizing chat. Because if you use Google, then you have enough internet capability to be using ChatGPT. Like if you understand how to use Google. So I think sometimes people get a little scared that it's new technology and we get a little worried.
Do not be afraid of it. Please, just to give you guys an idea of what we've done with it. Even for affiliate marketing, in the last, I think 3 weeks, we did like 11,000 in sales, and we only did the work in the last 72 hours. So the first 72 hours, we built everything that we needed to do, put it out in the world, and then it just started automatically generating money from affiliate sales. It's still generating affiliate money right this minute. The work's already done.
And this is stuff you're going to be teaching in the course?
Yep.
Yeah, this is stupid. This is just like
Dude, every day I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Like, it was already bad enough with the YouTube automation money because, we were just, there's a lot of guys pumping that all you got to do is this. And yeah, inherently it is all you got to do is this, but there's so much more to it. But, with the AdSense coming in, some of us have CPMs on some of the accounts at like $7 per 1,000. So it's like, we have a luxury account that's doing like $92,000 a year. Mind you, I've been involved in like 42 accounts total, or even more than that. I can't even remember. I own 12 to 13 solely by myself, and I'm partnered with other people, but the money feels criminal. This is before AI. Now it's just like completely stealing. I'll be honest with you.
it's nuts. But you know what? This is really, and this is why like the idea of like, please guys, do not get left behind with this stuff. I only ever bring things into like the community that I think are valuable, that I think it's like you should be worth learning about. And the way I feel about this is, like we all look back and say like, man, I wish I was a part of the internet when it was first starting. I wish I was a part of like, this is essentially that next step. Like the internet was a massive shift, right? That seemed to happen, overnight, but like when it was actually happening, it was at the speed, well, maybe it's a little bit slower than what's happening right now. ChatGPT and AI technology is moving really freaking quick. But like there's an opportunity to be a part of it. And do you want to be 2 years from now thinking, dang, I wish I had just taken a little bit of time, just taking a little bit of nuggets one day at a time. You're not going to learn the entire thing overnight, but just allowing yourself to be aware of it and play with it and utilize it in what you're already doing. Because here's the truth. Regardless of what you're doing, it already has the ability to serve you right now in your field. You don't need to change your industry. This thing can serve you. This has been serving my real estate business like nothing else. It's insane. Again,
Absolutely.
It wrote a contract for me. Literally wrote a contract for me.
Dude, like I have people that never had time to build their course. And we have, I forgot the name of the marketplace, but one of my close friends was like, hey, you need to put some of your prompts on here. And it was a prompt database where they were selling it. I was like, you know what, screw it. I put the prompt there for like $8. It builds an entire course for you, start to finish, shows you how many credits you're going to need. If you're doing a credit-based AI like Midjourney or something like that. And we sold the damn thing like almost 30,000 times, and it builds an entire course. You feed it all of the information and it spits out a course, including the marketing, your targeted demographic, how to run your split testing, your ad copy, your ad narrative. Like these are things that this thing can do, and no one seems to know that it can. It's like a secret still, and I don't know how. I don't know how this is a secret. Everyone that said, oh, I should have got in on crypto, but you didn't because it was risky. This is that, but with actual work.
That's insane. Yo, Chris, I saw you had your hand up, bro. You still have a question?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was just wondering, I just started advertising my business as far as social media presence. So aside from removing immediate friends and family that aren't related to the field, what else should I be doing right now?
What can you do with your profile right now? So it could be your layout. You can take your photos and arrange them in a way where it's congruent and it stays on course. So some people have like all these random photos all over the place and of all these different things that they're doing, and that's fine. But there's so many apps. Matter of fact, I will run them off, the ones that we use. Let me go into my social media Gapper and I'll show you guys what I'm using. So one of them is, there's one called, there's Layout, which everyone pretty much has. You have grids. There's like, some of them are paid, some of them are not, but you need to make it appealing. It needs to look professional. You are a professional. Your Instagram should also look like a professional's Instagram. Whether or not your photos are professional are completely irrelevant. But if you're going to, if you're offering information and, let's say your field is real estate, home sold, free game, home sold, rinse and repeat, and you have that blocked out. You got to keep everything professional and congruent. You don't need your photos all over the place. You don't need your layout all over the place. There's a million things, like your biggest win, turn it into a grid and just put it up there, and just keep in mind how many photos you need to shift every time you post something new.
It's true.
All right. Thank you.
Always.
Appreciate that.
Hey, Kevin, you got a question?
Yeah, I just felt like the oddball out and first time caller and first time joiner of the Millionaires Club here. So appreciate that. And I did not join right at the beginning, but coming in halfway through definitely makes me want to go see the replay and catch all the nuggets that I missed. And I just wanted to say thank you to Ferrari for the time. My partner does all of our Facebook ads and PPC things and all of that. I wish he could see some of this, but I sent out a notice or a shout out to you on your phone. So we'll be jumping in the cannonball style to your domination.
That's great. That's great. You should definitely learn marketing as well, so you guys can maybe bump heads and see what's what on some of the data. You never want to just delegate something to somebody else. So in some instances, it's okay, but if it's like your business partner, it should always be a collaborative effort. So definitely take the time, in your own speed, no matter how busy you are, to learn just one little nugget every day about, ad marketing, because you could catch something he missed.
Okay.
You know what's interesting, Ferrari? I heard, I forget where it was Russell Brunson, actually. Funny enough, you were talking about Russell Brunson earlier, and I was reading through one of his books, just last weekend. And he spoke about one of the things like you never relinquish in your business is like your marketing. He's like, you can never truly give that away, because your marketing is, like you said, it's the lifeblood of your business. It's literally the front door of your business. It's how it starts the process for everything else. So we always want to have control of our marketing. And I'll say this to everyone inside here, because you guys heard me say it earlier, that for a while, my business was run off of other people generating leads, and I was just simply closing it on the back end. And although that process made me money, I hated that process, to be quite frank with you guys, because I couldn't control the front end conversations. I couldn't control the entry. So what was happening is stuff was getting clogged up on my conveyor belt because they weren't cleaning it and processing it the way I wanted it. So the rest of my system was getting backed up because I had let go of the most important critical piece of the business, right? It's like, it's the gasoline to the car. Without the gas, doesn't matter if you got a Bugatti, it does not move.
100%. It's not a new job. It's the same business. And that's what people go, oh, I don't want to do marketing. That's a completely, no, it's marketing the business you're running. And that's the most important thing, because if you're not putting the narrative that you want forward, you're delegating it to somebody else. And, it could be a guerrilla marketer. I've done guerrilla marketing in terms where, people didn't want guerrilla marketing done. And you need to know that ahead of time. So maybe you have a different approach, but you don't know how to put it out there yet. And if you learned marketing, you might be better at it than your partner and you never even knew it. There's nothing wrong with both of you doing it, but it's not something you ever want to have in someone else's hands, because whether you're good at something else, you could be better. You could be great at the whole other part of the business, but if the marketing don't get asses in seats, you can't do anything with them.
It's so true. Guys, this is one of the most powerful golden nuggets. I don't even know how to emphasize this well enough for you to be taking so seriously, this conversation that we're having here tonight, and taking this insight in to realize, man, why are they still an hour and a half, 2 hours later, still talking about marketing? It's that critical. It is that critical. Again, if I restarted my entire entrepreneurial career, if I went back to high school, I went back to college and had to take classes on anything, I want marketing. If I had to go get a job or an internship, I want to learn marketing. I want to play with marketing on someone else's budget and practice on someone else's dollar and someone else's dime. Marketing. I just gave this advice to a 19-year-old last week when he was like, I'm getting started in real estate. What should I focus on? He's like, I'm about to be a wholesaler. And I said, forget everything that everyone else is telling you. Go learn marketing, because all business, especially wholesaling real estate, all business is marketing. If that part's not figured out, the rest of it, yeah, you'll make money here and there, but like you're guessing when the next dollar is going to show up.
Yeah. Without marketing, you're not in control of when the money hits. And so that is actually super true. And I've had the luxury of playing with other people's budgets. And, you know, it's like, oh, you know, $1 million a month. Sure, why not? Yeah, I have nothing better to do. But you get to make mistakes, and they're not mistakes because of the budget. So normally when it's like, oh, I don't want to put this amount here because if it doesn't work, there is no if it doesn't work when you're playing with other people's money. And not saying like, oh, screw their budget, but their budget is when you're playing with bigger budgets. And that's how I learned, you know, a lot of the ad strategies that I'm using. I had the luxury of being able to say, well, look, I know we're supposed to spend a million a quarter, but I'm going to put 100,000 on this split test because I strongly feel like one of these photos are going to be trash, and I have the money to figure out which one is which. People think like, oh, I'm going to record this video and then I'm going to target, you know, even what I said you guys tonight, the ad sets. Don't take the video and run 5 ad sets. Record 5 videos and run 5 ad sets because some people may not resonate with your video. I have a client right now that was completely against what I told him to do. He didn't want to do it. I cannot make this shit up. He was like, no, we're not doing that. I said, no, you need to understand what I'm telling you. Let's do a second video and change the narrative, put in a completely different light. That video was performing at half the cost of the one that they gave us with their ad marketing data. That video is 41 cents a click versus his 82 that with the material they gave us. You have to split test everything. I'm talking about your text. I'm talking about the color of the background. If you have the money to test everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
And remember, it doesn't cost you money. It makes like this was like the biggest mindset shift I had to make. Marketing doesn't cost you money. Marketing makes you money. Every dollar you put into the machine should be spitting out $2, $5, $10, $20. If you can start to get your mind around that and emotionally start to correlate that relationship to marketing, it starts to get easier. It won't shift overnight. At least it didn't shift for me overnight. It's been a slow shift. However, it's a shift that needs to occur, and that when it starts to occur, you will find that you're excited and you're grateful to spend the money on your marketing when you understand that it works.
100%. It's the same investment. The investment you made in yourself here to start working with Marlon is no different from spending money on marketing. You're not, even if you spend $1,000 and you didn't gain a single sale, you have a ton of data. Yeah, it wasn't what you wanted, but you know that's not your demographic. You know those photos are probably terrible. You know your ad copy is probably trash. And this isn't to be sarcastic, but this is also, it's teaching you to pivot. I'm not saying take your last $1,000 or your mortgage money or your rent payment and then, you know, YOLO it on marketing. What I'm telling you to do is learn more about the inner workings of your business, because without marketing, you don't know the inside or the inner workings of your business. You know how to run your business, but you don't know how to bring business to your business.
That's a nugget. That's a mic drop moment.
Business, do your business.
Yo, I love it. Yo, you guys.
Yeah.
Yo, did y'all get value from Ferrari tonight?
100%.
Yo, Ferrari, I gotta say it again, man. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I know this was last minute.
Always. No, it's fine, bro. The minute you text me, like I didn't need to hear anything else. I got you. Don't worry about it.
I appreciate it. So I got your link, I got your cell phone number, I got your Discord, and I got your Twitter. It's in the circle chat. So guys, reach out, connect with Ferrari, shoot him a message, see about getting into AI domination. And if you have, like, just stay connected, get connected with him on Discord, right? Like that's where he says he hangs out, Discord and Twitter. I don't know how many of you have Twitter, but I know all of you are on Discord.
Yeah, I live on Discord. I have so many different servers. It's just a lot. So, you know, I manage most of my people for YouTube and a few other things on there. So I'm on there a lot. So anybody that needs me will be able to find me on there. I do a lot of retail botting, so I'm up late. So if you guys ever feel it's too late, I'm probably up. Don't even worry about it.
Yo, I absolutely love it. So guys, this was another Monday night. We had the Millionaire Mindset Mondays, and tonight we had Ferrari. So be sure to send him some love. Make sure you let him know that you appreciate him for having been here. And check back in, guys. We're going to be here again next Monday. I got to see who we have coming in next Monday. We'll be dropping some value as always. Tomorrow morning, Raphael's going to be holding it down with the MMC call first thing in the morning, 7 a.m. So guys, feel tuned. Raphael, I'm also going to share with you a link so that you're able to get everybody on the same Zoom link, because some people have been wondering where the Zoom links are. So Raphael, I'm going to hook you up with a link that will be a community link for everybody. It will also host the recordings. So guys, before we bounce out of here, just want to let you all know I appreciate you. And we're going to finish off with saying some affirmations. So you guys already know what time it is. We always got to say the affirmations before we get out of here. So first off, let's get it. I'm healthy, wealthy, and wise.
I'm healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Oh, I love that. The kids in the background are hitting it. Every day, in every way, I am getting better and better.
Every day, in every way,
I am getting better and better.
Every day, money flows to me easily, frequently, abundantly, and in ever-increasing amounts from expected and unexpected places.
Everyday money
Every day
flows
money flows to me easily.
ever increasing amount
In
of places.
expecting and unexpected and unincreasing amount.
I am loved, appreciated, blessed, and highly favored.
I
I
am
am loved, appreciated, blessed, and highly favored.
Today is a great day, and I expect great things to happen to me and for me.
Today
today.
is a great day, and I expect
Great
things
things
for me and for me.
And for me.
Forward for great things happening to me and for me.
Love it, Yanni. I am a fixer. I am somebody's answer. When you get me, you get everything that I am connected to.
I am
a fixer.
I am
a
somebody's
fixer.
answer.
when you get
When
me,
you get
you
me,
get
you get
everything I am
everything I'm connected to.
I am my best investment.
I am
am
my best
I-
investment.
I am a child of the Most High God.
I
I am a child of the Most High
and
God.
child of the Most High
The
God.
most
Today, I live in wealth and abundance. I pursue opportunities boldly.
today I
Today I
live
live
wealth
in
and
wealth and abundance. I pursue opportunities boldly.
opportunity boldly.
Life happens for me. Everything is for my growth and benefit.
life
Life
happens
happens for me. Everything is for my growth
Everything
and
is
benefit.
for my benefit.
My body is my temple.
my
My
body.
Body
is
is my temple.
The only piece that was missing was me.
The
The
only
only
piece that is missing was me.
me.
Let's go.
let's go.
Yo, guys, I appreciate
Hey.
you all being here. You enjoy the rest of your Monday night and stay tuned. Raphael, I'm going to shoot you the link for tomorrow, and hopefully I'll see you guys on the morning call in the AM.
Awesome.